it's Sandra! Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't resubscribed, what are you waiting for? Please hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified I go live like now or post a new video. On this channel, I share my own life journey. Like I said, I cover dating, relationships, asexual life in general, including friendships. So in today's episode, I want to discuss with you, unfortunately, some people never change, sadly, however much you wish they would. So what am I talking about? So you may have known that if you watch this channel, there was two guys that I was interested in last year, both of whom were not suitable for me for a relationship. One was Indian, one was Tunisian. The Indian guy I blocked, and I haven't heard from him since at all, which is good, I guess. You know, proves he wasn't ever really that interested, I guess. Although I know that he had a lot of stuff going on in his own life, and really he wasn't available for a relationship anyway, I wouldn't say. And it wasn't right for me to be with him in the end, even though he was Indian. You know, he was kind of like chopping and changing his mind all the time. So he did me a favor, so that's really good. I've been getting over him. You know, I've been getting over him a lot, which I'm really pleased about, considering he's Indian. But he's older than I would usually go for anyway. He's about 32, but didn't really act like it. But anyway, wish him luck. So moving on. And then I was friends with the guy for a few months before we started online dating, the Tunisian guy. And you've probably seen my videos. If you have, he started stalking me when I left his life. The reason I left his life was because he was going to leave mine anyway. So the fact that he stalked me after I left and gave him what he presumably wanted is a bit weird. But obviously he probably didn't mean it, it seems. In which case, why even bother playing stupid games like that? Anyway, so you know, he did put me down and stuff about my looks, which I was shocked about, because he already told people we're in a relationship, even though I said to him we can't actually be in a relationship. We can only date until and unless you can get over to the UK, because I can't have an online relationship. You know, I just can't do it. It's long distances doesn't suit me. I need someone here in person who I can kiss, cuddle, and be with, right? So anyway, it was, you know, it's a shame. It really is a shame, because I saw potential in him. I saw there was some things we got on really well about, but in the end, it wasn't good for me. It wasn't right for me. And I was kind of like taking a lot of time out of my day to find him ways to come to the UK legally. And, you know, why should I do all the work if he's that interested in me, right? And also, you know, in the end, he threatened to leave me, threatened to unfriend me on Facebook, basically, to go from his life, and was laughing about it. And that was really, really nasty. I was really, really hurt. And I just thought, this is clearly a joke to him, right? He's not obviously that bothered about getting to UK. So if he was, he'd be actively pursuing that himself, rather than me kind of like pursuing that with him, you know, kind of like, and, you know, and so it was horrible, really nasty. You know, so I blocked him. I'm like, okay, I'll leave your life. If that's the way you feel, I'll go. It's fine, you know, and just left, because I'm not going to stay around for someone to like laugh at my expense. And clearly, as far as I was concerned, he wasn't actually that into me. And, you know, the whole thing was like a bit of a joke, right? In the end, which was sad, you know, after I'd spent a lot of time with this person and stuff. But anyway, so then I blocked him, and then obviously he was nasty to my friends, stalked me, and, you know, tried to friend my friends and tried to, you know, connect with me in lots of different social media platforms. He created fake profiles, including fake Indian profiles, and it was just not nice. Tried to get him back in other groups through fake profiles, and it was just really horrible. And I'm sure he was trolling this channel under different names for a while. I'm sure he still secretly watches his channel as well, even though I've blocked him. And so, you know, it was a really difficult time. And I said about, you know, his mum tried to get me to get back with him, saying things, you know, would be different and stuff like this, which I didn't think they would. And I said, he admitted he got a moodiness problem, which I thought was a good thing. He admitted that, but he's not going to do anything about it. And he needs to see a therapist if he's got moodiness issues, and if he treats someone like that. It's not nice. If I love someone, I don't go around speaking to that way or treating them that way. It's just not something you do. And so anyway, it was very hurtful. And so anyway, I've been trying to get over him since, and then I didn't hear from him. Well, I split up dating him on the 1st of November last year, and then he was obviously stalking me for a couple of weeks or more. And his mum, like I said, tried to contact me shortly afterwards, and I saw her pop up on this channel with a link. So clearly she must be watching my channel. He's watching it through her. And so that was really difficult. A number of my followers on here were a bit worried about me for a while, but then thankfully he stopped the stalking, which was, well, I thought he'd stopped it. At least he'd stopped the horribleness, which is really good. After I had to prove that he was lying about me and about things. So anyway, so that was taking me some time to get over, and he knows, probably because he's probably seen this channel somehow, that I'm not fully over that yet. And anyway, I hadn't heard from him for about 3 months, and then he sent me a postcard out of the blue last month. He sent me a postcard before saying I'd never hear from him again, and that he'll love me forever, basically, and look for me in the other lives, blah blah blah. And then he sent me a postcard last month saying that obviously he realised his behaviour bad, and that I'd be proud of him because he's changing. He listened to what I said about learning about boundaries, about healthy love, and healthy relationships. But like I said on this channel, and he asked me to get back into a relationship with him. Relationship, dating. Anyway, but I already told him I cannot do an online relationship, and he can't come to UK anyway, so it's absolutely pointless. And besides, people never change that quickly. It takes more than 3 months to change a lifetime of speaking to people inappropriately and being rude and swearing and horrible and belittling and putting down. It takes a long time for someone like that to get out of those bad habits and patterns, not just 3 months. So anyway, it'd be nice if he did change, but clearly he hasn't. So today I noticed in my LinkedIn that I had a request from him to connect, and it used one of the pictures that he used when he came into one of my groups. So basically he created a LinkedIn profile just with one of his pictures on, and he liked 2 groups, or joined 2 groups, followed 2 groups, something like that. And he just put like where he's studying for the next 3 years and where he lives. And then he created a fake surname again. Now, I don't know which surname he really actually is. I'm guessing none of the ones I've actually seen. So it just proves that he's still a liar. He still hasn't changed. And it's really sad. I don't know why he thinks that lying will win me back. I don't know why he thinks that. I don't know why he thinks that I can creating profiles and I can still keep sticking fake surnames on there. Why would I want to get back into dating or with anyone who's still lying? It proves he's never changed. The one good thing about him creating that profile and writing a fake surname, or different to his other ones, so one of them's fake, then, the only thing, it did me a favour in realising that he definitely hasn't changed, that he's still a liar. And I'm really sorry for him that he is that way. I'm sorry that he's going to go through his life lying to people and not being able to be his true, authentic self. I really am. It's a shame, because with me, he would have got someone who loved him for who he was, but I can't love a liar. Well, I do still have feelings for him, but I wished I didn't. I wished I didn't have feelings for someone who's, clearly a liar still. And it does still upset me. And he probably knows this and probably why he did it. And it does still upset me, It upsets me that someone can treat someone like this when they call it love. It's not love. It's just him wanting to get back with me for the sake of saying he got back with me or whatever he intends to do. You know, when you truly love someone, you don't keep lying to them over and over again. You don't say you've changed and then prove you haven't. But I'm glad that he created that LinkedIn profile. I'm glad he tried to connect with me with another surname. So I know that he's still definitely not changed. So 3 months I didn't hear from him. I got the postcard last month. And like I said on this channel, it takes more than 3 months to change. And just because he's learned about something doesn't mean anything unless he's put it into practice. And he's not getting therapy as far as I know. And I doubt he ever will. You know, but someone who goes around stalking someone on the internet, goes around creating fake profiles, goes around like, you know, still lying, still creating fake surnames. They do need some help. And I am sorry. I'm really sorry that that person is like that. I'm sorry for myself. I'm sorry for them. Because I can't stand people who lie. And I'm really sorry that he's done that again to me. You know, but I am grateful that he's done that because now I can see he's not changed, however much I wished he would. But like I said before, it's not like real life is not like who was in the movies. It's not like what you see. Sometimes it is. I do know some guys who have changed. Very, very few, but I do know some. From my past, some of my exes that I met years later. And I do know that they have changed. Two of my exes. Both of which used to be bad with women, for example, both of them. And they're both in serious, committed, long-term relationships. And I don't believe they would ever cheat on their partners. The ones they've got now. Those are the only two exes I know of because I don't keep in contact with any of the others. I don't keep in contact. Well, those two I haven't spoke. Well, one of them showed up near where I live because they were delivering something in a van. I just said hi to them. And the other one, he was only my ex for a night. We became friends after that. So I'm still cool if I happen to see him. But he was friends with me on Facebook many years ago. But then obviously since I'm asexual, he's kind of like gone from that, which is fine. But when I saw him, he came into my old job actually. He was like, oh, I always knew you were asexual. Probably because I turned him down, this particular guy, for a weekend in Paris or France. It's like saying I'm not that kind of girl. But I didn't know I was asexual back then. So yeah, so I'm really sad that this guy from Tunisia has not changed. I'm sad that he's going to go on in his life, still lying, still creating fake profiles, still creating false surnames. And it's LinkedIn, for God's sake. He just created it just for me because there was no one else he was connected to on there. You know, he had no connections. He's just created it. And I blocked him and I reported him, you know, because at the end of the day, it's a fake name as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't know what his real name is. And it's really weird because his actual email address is a woman's name. I find that very bizarre. Very, 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 very weird and bizarre. Very weird and bizarre. So yeah. But it's sad, you know, because, well, just because they're never, ever going to change, are they? You know? And so, yeah, I just have to continue to let them go. But they're not going to be good for any other woman either while they're ever there like that. Not long term. You know? And I feel sorry for a woman if she gets it with him. But I wish them the best of luck if they do. Because maybe he will treat her better with any luck. But, you know, he needs to improve himself, you know. But it's sad. It's really, really sad. You know? But like I said, there are a few rare people that do change. And I know two of my exes long ago that changed, one of whom apologized to me years and years and years later. I mean, years later. I think it was like, I don't know, 10 years later or 8. Was it 8 years later? I think it was 8 years. I think it was. That's a long time. But that person was genuinely sorry. I hadn't heard from them in years. So, doesn't make what they did right. What they did was not right. And I can never forget what they did, but I move on. But yeah, so I just wanted to do this video. Like I've said before, like people don't change that quickly. People don't change that easily. You know, what's the point in sending me a postcard like saying, oh, I've changed, I'm a better person just as you thought of me, and then still continuing to lie? I don't see the point. It's a waste of paper, a waste of pen, a waste of, you know, probably just a manipulation, sadly. Like, oh, saying I've changed and then she'll get back with me. It doesn't work like that. If I got back with him, dating him, just imagine what would be the point? He'd be the exact same person as he was when I left his life. Exact same person. How's a relationship going to work that way when I wasn't happy before? When I was miserable before? You know, crying a lot before? In the end, not all the time. In the end, what's the point? You know, what is the point? It's a shame because some ways we had effective communication whilst actually messaging, but you know, he wasn't right for me, sadly. It's hard when you love someone or have love feelings for someone when they're not right for you. It's really difficult. And you really wish they would change. Some part of you wish they would change, really wished it, but it's never going to happen. You know, he's never going to work out how to come to the UK of his own accord. He's never going to stop lying anyway. So if I met him, I'd just be like, well, what's the truth? I don't believe what you say because you just lie. You just create fake profiles, fake surnames, fake whatever, and you just lie. And it's a shame. It's a real shame he's like that. You know, I can't trust him. Can't trust him with other women and stuff. Can't trust him in general. And so, you know, I wanted to do this video because, you know, I don't want you to get hurt by someone like this, you know? It's hard, you know, and lots of people do get back with their exes and the person doesn't change, or they might have changed for a very short period of time. I've got back with an ex who changed for 3 weeks and then he was just back to the way he was, but a lot worse, sadly. And this guy has no intention of getting an actual therapist to get help to solve his problems with lying and stuff like that. So, you know, there's nothing more I can do. His mum was wrong about me anyway, trying to help him to change. There's nothing I can do, you know? He obviously won't listen to me. Creating still fake surnames. I just don't want to be with a person like that. That's not how you have a healthy, happy relationship, by being with someone who's got fake names all the time and faking profiles. It's just what adult that you know has fakeness like this, you know, that has a healthy relationship. All the healthy relationships that I know where there's couples who genuinely love each other, who kind and caring towards each other, who really make an effort to make a relationship work, but actually it's a lot more effortless because they're completely honest with each other, they're completely open with each other, they're like best friends, they always want the best for each other and try to make each other happy. How many of those relationships do you know where someone's those type of healthy relationships I'm talking about, you know, when people are faking things? You can't have a serious, healthy, happy, committed relationship with someone who's faking it because they're being fake. Just from the fact they're being fake, you can't have it because you're living with someone who's not even real, or being with someone or dating someone that's not even real. You don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. The realness is not even there. It's just like I don't know. I just don't see the point in people being like this, but it seems like there's quite a lot of people in the world who can't be their true authentic self. But, you know, if you can't totally be yourself, at least not lie about it. But I guess that's the whole point of not being yourself, is covering up. And, you know, thanks for thumbs up, is covering up and stuff like this, you know. But it's a shame. It's a shame, but, you know, I wanted to do this video because, you know, you have followed me on this channel and I did say some of what he said in the postcard about how he changed that. And I said on that video, you know, just saying you're reading about boundaries and healthy relationships doesn't mean to say you're actually put into practice. And clearly it's not, because he's not actually listening to what I say. So I cannot have an online relationship. Categorically, you know, I will not have an online relationship, especially with someone I do not trust, who creates fake profiles, who creates fake surnames. Who in their right mind would want that? You know, it's difficult because I still have feelings for someone who is not good for me, you know, and no doubt he knows that and he's playing on it. But at the end of the day, I can't get back with someone who's a liar, and I don't want to get back with someone who's a liar. I can't trust this guy, you know, and it's sad. It's really, really sad. I always feel that, you know, people miss out on opportunities in life. And some people miss out on opportunities because they're scared and they're fearful and they let opportunities pass them by. And other people miss out on opportunities because they're just faking things. They're just not being their true self. They're just not ready for when someone shows up in their life. And they end up, you know, not saying a good thing when they've got it, and then it's gone. You know, a good person is not going to stick around with someone who's bad for them, who's being fake and false and phony. You know, it's just incompatibility. You know, it's not the type of guy I want for myself. I want a guy who's so honest, he couldn't even lie to me in the slightest. And his name's out there, and his, you know, he's really great, you know, and treats me really well, and wants to be with me and makes me feel like the happiest girl on planet Earth. You know, that's the type of guy I deserve to be with. Someone who's not faking anything at all. Someone who's not moody and got moodiness on him. Someone who, if he did have a problem, would be willing to say, hey, I've got a problem. I'm going to go and sort it out and get some help. You know, even in the Stop Abuse for Everyone course I did, the pattern changing course in 2013, how to spot signs of abuser. And even in that, they say anyone who's abusive, they need to get therapy for at least a year to make any real change. If they're not going to even do it for a year, it's not even any point getting back with them, you know? And abuse can take different forms, you know? You can get physical abuse, you can get emotional abuse, you can get mental abuse. You know, it's not good. Megan, hello! Mwah, lots of love to you. It's so good to see you. Yeah, it's hard to trust people anymore because you don't know who's going to be to genuinely love you or not. Had this problem with my now ex-girlfriend. Oh, Megan, I was wondering how you were getting on. I'm doing a show earlier today because I hope I catch some different viewers, you know? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm really, really sorry for you. I want to give you a big hug, you know, virtual hug, because I know how difficult it is. You know, I'm so sorry. You know, I feel so sorry for everyone that gets hurt like this by people. I do not know why people do this. I guess it's for egotism, because they're hugely insecure themselves. I'm now on Facebook dating too. Bless you. But yeah, she didn't care about me the way I thought she did. I'm so sorry. You're such a lovely person. Unfortunately, these type of things tend to happen. The most loveliest of people, they really do. Like I know Megan online. Right? I've never met her in real life, but I know she's got a heart of gold just through talking to her. A genuine, good, kind, caring soul. You know, I'm so sorry that happened to you. You're back on Facebook dating now too. Yeah, I'm not sure about Facebook dating. I'm just like doing it because I thought I just need to kind of like fulfill a romantic need and to not be so fearful of guys anymore, because, you know, I just want to make sure that I'm, you know, like I'm just kind of like talking to guys and stuff, other guys, so I can kind of get my mind a bit off the guy that's just like tried to connect with me again, you know? It's just horrible. I'm so sorry that happened to you. You know, I really wish these people would just get some help. It's all a learning process. Hurts, but we all make progress somehow. Yeah, it does hurt, you know, it really hurts. And I feel so sorry for you. I feel so sorry for me as well, you know? And it's difficult, isn't it? You know? I mean, the guy, you know, I'm talking about, I mean, at least he's showing me that he's not changed at all. He might be genuine in the fact that he has some feelings for me, but again, a reason why he wants to get back with me really, I think, is more for his own reasons, not because he really loves me and cares about me and wants the best for me and wants to make me happy, because clearly he doesn't, because he's lying still. You know? So it's not like, oh, I really want to be in a relationship with you, get back with me because I can make you actually happy and be honest, loyal and faithful and boundary driven and all the rest of it. It's just rubbish, sadly. You know, because he can't make me happy. The reason he wants to get back in a relationship probably is because he's feeling lonely without me and lost without me, according to the postcard like that, you know. Thanks for making the videos that you do. You do help a lot. Oh, you're welcome, Megan. I'm glad that you like my videos. Yeah, it's I wish I could give you a big hug right now because I know what it's like. It's really difficult. I mean, this guy I still have feelings for as well, and so it's really hard. It's not easy, you know, because I have this side of me that does care about people, and obviously he knows that. That's why he's doing it even more, you know, as he thinks that I'll give in and cave in and go back to him. But at the end of the day, you know, so I did speak to him again. Theoretically, what's going to change? Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because he's still creating, you know, fake names. And on LinkedIn, we all know that it's an actual place to, you know, get a job, get careers, get connected in business, right? You know, so you don't use fake names on there. Because if an employer actually employs you, you have to give your birth certificate in to prove who you really are. So if you start using fake names on LinkedIn, then obviously your new employer's going to be, I don't think so. So, you know, but seeing as he's had like 3 or 4 different, 3 surnames for definite, I know, 4 actually, because I think he used his middle name, his whatever fake or genuine middle name as his surname once. And, you know, technically it's basically 4. 3 if you don't count the middle name as being classed as a last name, you know. So I don't know what his real name is, you know, but it's just sad. It's like, why is he spending so much time like following me on social media, wanting to connect with me again when he's not changed and he can't make me happy? You know, if you genuinely love someone, you want to make them happy. You can't make me happy. I'm not happy with someone who lies, who creates fake profiles, who creates fake surnames. He sounds really sketchy. Yes, unfortunately. That's a bit of an understatement, but yeah. I mean, you know, he needs to get some therapy to help him to not be this type of guy, because it's not going to make any other woman happy. You know, even if he gets with another girl, which, you know, if he does, he does. But, you know, he's not going to be able to make another girl happy, because you know, you can't be happy with someone who lies and behaves that way, you know. And so not long term, you know. And so I'm really disappointed in some ways, but I'm really happy that he's shown me that he's not changed. Because obviously he didn't speak to me for 3 months, which was good. And then I got the postcard saying he changed, and then it just proves that I'm right and he hasn't changed, sadly. You know, but sometimes you do really wish someone had changed if you really care about them. You know, you're like, oh, you want to see the good in them. You want them to have a revelation somehow. But usually, you know, it's not until someone has something really major in their life that actually gets them to change. And clearly, me leaving his life has not been revelation enough to make him properly change. But you can't make someone change anyway. If he thinks that behaviour is fine, then he's just going to carry on, isn't he? Which means I'm just going to have to carry on life without him, you know, as I do, you know, and try and find a better guy for me, or stay single forever, you know, because I deserve better than that, you know. How can you be in a serious, committed, happy relationship with someone like that? You just can't. And I don't understand why he can't understand that if he got back with me, what good was that do? Oh, he loves me. I have feelings for him, right? You know, or, you know, and you can't make a relationship out of love, even if it is love, right? But, you know, I can't be with someone who treats me that way, you know. And like I said, you know, even if you love someone or have feelings for someone, that doesn't mean it's good for you to be in a relationship with them. You can't make a relationship out of, oh, I love you or I have feelings for you, and nothing else is compatible. It's just crazy. You know, it's just absolute crazy. It's just basically means that it would be doomed from the start again, you know, and it's just sad. It's very, very sad, you know, and I've already made it perfectly clear I do not want an online only relationship. I don't, you know, absolute, but it's still a shame that it takes something major to happen to people to make them change. Really ridiculous, but if that's what it takes, then so be it. Yeah, but clearly me leaving his life has not been enough to make him actually change. His mum said when I first split from dating him or whatever he it takes to be a relationship, then his mum said about, oh, he's already started to change. And I'm like, I don't think so. People don't change that quickly, you know. And she's like, oh, but he has, because, you know, he didn't expect you to go from his life. And, you know, that like, and there's a doctor in the family that said, you know, when they have a big, you know, something like that happens, it does change them. But clearly it hasn't with him, you know, it hasn't. And so what can I do? Nothing. There's nothing I can do. Maybe he'll wake up in 10 years' time and think, oh, God, that girl I was dating years ago, Sandra, she was really right. And now I will see it clearly. And now I see everything I have to do to be a better person. And I'll clear up my act and I'll actually be this type of person. But I didn't see it. He's obviously not strong enough to do that. He obviously cannot see that. He's blind to that. And so there's nothing I can do but let him go. Nothing I can do but let him go, you know? Although I've already let him go, but clearly I've still got feelings. But, you know, there's nothing I can do. Sadly, just got to hope they get what's coming to them. Megan, that made me laugh. Gotta hope they get what's coming to them. Yeah. Well, if they treat people badly, I don't think it's going to be great for them. Good. Yeah, exactly. If they treat people badly, I don't think they're going to have a happy life. And I knew that when they met me, I was probably one of the most happiest things in their life at the time, you know, and they just destroyed that and they can't see it, you know. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. I can't, you know. It's like when you're in front of someone and you really wished you could just say, wake up and open your eyes and look at what you're doing. Look at your behavior. Look how you are. You have to change, but you can't, because people won't listen, because they don't believe they've done anything wrong, or they have to change. They just be like, oh, like, I feel he's the type of guy that's like, oh, and then he'll hear the words but not do anything about it. No action is taken. You know, so anyway, apart from he does take action, because obviously clearly he's creating other profiles to try and connect with me. But you know what I mean? It's like I said, I can't get back into a relationship or dating as far as I was going. Yeah, they don't know what they have until it's gone or moved on. Exactly. They don't know what they've got until it's gone and moved on. But at the end of the day, he's not doing anything to win me back, really, because he's just not changing. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I left his life because he was going to defriend me on Facebook and started laughing at me. And I'm like, well, this is clearly a joke to you. You're clearly not actually serious about me. So there's no point in me being in your life. I'll just make it easier for you and leave it. You know, which I did. I just left. I'm like, well, I did say to him I was going. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I would just leave your life. No problem. I don't take threats. You know, if he wants to leave me, fine. I'm going. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'm not going to be where I'm not wanted. You know, and exactly, Megan. You know, I'm not going to be where I'm not wanted. Who in their right mind stays where they're not wanted? Do you know what I mean? And are laughed at like that. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible and nasty, to be quite frank with you. You know, it's no way to treat anyone, especially not someone you claim you love. I mean, who claims they actually love someone and speaks to them or treats them that way? You know, if someone genuinely loves you, they definitely would not want you to leave their life. They wouldn't threaten it. They wouldn't laugh at your expense. They wouldn't do any of that stuff. Because they would be too scared to lose you. Like, there's no way they would threaten that if they were serious and good guys. But obviously, clearly, a guy who's not good or unhealthy, playing games, testing you or whatever, or just not a good person for you anyway, would, you know? So it is difficult because obviously, when you have feelings for someone, it's hard. It sucks having to leave someone we still have feelings for, but it's better to think of yourself than stay in a toxic place with a bad person. Yeah, exactly. I just have to keep reminding myself that they're toxic for me and they're not good for me. They're bad for me. But thankfully they lied again. I guess I have to thank them for lying this time. I'm glad they did lie, really, because at least it proved that they're still a liar. And they used a picture that they don't even look like anymore. They looked like that a few years ago. That's not actually the current way they look, but they still got old pictures. Well, I don't know what their profile's like now because they're blocked from me, and I'm not interested in that. But they were using older pictures mostly on their profile anyway from a few years ago, and they looked a bit younger. Because this person knows I like clean shaven guys, and the person isn't totally clean shaven, or wasn't last time I saw them. So yeah, kind of still trying to move on from your ex. I'm so sorry, Megan. It's really difficult, isn't it? It's kind of hard to know whether to start dating again or not because we need time to heal. But I'm pretty much completely over the Indian guy last year now. And then this other guy, is going to take time, I think, but yeah, it is still difficult. But, I needed time out to heal. I'm still not convinced that I might still go off Facebook dating again, but I just felt that I should go on it because I want to get talking to guys again and get my confidence back like that because it was knocked with the 2 guys last year. And I was getting quite fearful and anxious and stuff. And I'm still get anxious about Facebook dating. I might come off it again if it starts getting too much because I want to focus on my work as well, my book and stuff, not just be distracted by that all the time. And I don't think anything's going to come of it because I just think that they're all after sex by the look of it. Like the guy last night, one of the guys was on about meeting up, and I'm like, well, I'd have to video chat first, and I'm like, but I am asexual and don't like sex as it says in my profile. And then he just blocked me. I'm like, good. Another one bites the dust. I just block a lot of people on there. So far I've blocked quite a few. I've only been on it 2 days? Well, less than 2 days I think it is. Oh, I'm so sorry, Megan. I hope that you get someone really good for you. I know you're such a kind soul and a beautiful spirit and a lovely person, I just hope that you find someone good for you, and it is difficult. It's very difficult. I don't know about Tinder. I haven't tried Tinder because it's known as basically like swipe me to get sex, but it looks like from a video I saw that they've got a category for asexual on there. So I don't know whether to try it, but I really get scared of Tinder because it's well known for. You go on Tinder, you're basically swiping to see who you want to have sex with. That's what it's known for. If it's not possible, if it's not people lying to you or just being mean, then it's them ignoring how you feel and ghosting you for days. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, ignoring how you feel is bad anyway, Thank you. You're a very kind, compassionate person. Well, you are really lovely. I know I've known you online for a while and you've always had a good, kind heart. I don't know one bad bone in your body from what I've the interactions I've had with you. I'm so sorry. It is their loss, obviously. I know that doesn't so help because you feel like you've lost as well, but it is their loss at the end of the day, because they probably, if they're a good person or if they really did love you or had things for you, they'll probably regret it later on. But yeah, but yes, I'm a sloppy eater when it comes to Taco Bell. I love my food. I was actually thinking that maybe I could be with a guy who's not skinny because obviously I usually I get attracted to skinny guys, but I love my food. So I was thinking maybe I'd be better to be with a foodie, some guy who's not so skinny, because then I can eat what I like and not have to worry. Not that I really care what a guy thinks anyway. I'll eat what I want anyway. But you know what I mean? It's kind of like I like my food. I love my food. And so if I got with a guy who's a foodie, it'd be quite good. Sit there munching. But obviously I can end up munching too much because they might like their food even more than I do it. And I end up eating things that aren't so good for me. So yeah. But if that's like your flaws, I don't really think it's a flaw though. Sloppy when it comes to take a bath. You made me laugh. Oh, I like eating popcorn, but I try not to eat too much of it. I haven't had anything for a while. I've been good girl. Yeah. But yeah, it's a shame people lie and are mean or ignore and ghost, you know? I think if anyone ignores how you feel, then they're not a good person anyway. Like this guy, you know, that I've been talking about in this video, he's clearly not listening to how I feel. Like, he can't make me happy. I don't want an online only relationship. He's still a liar. You know, clearly that's not listening to how I feel. And part of like having a healthy relationship, like he said he'd earn about a healthy relationship of boundaries, is understanding a person's feelings and how they're interacting with a person and how their actions is causing a reaction in the person, you know. And clearly they can't have been putting any of it into practice, because like you know, like healthy relationships are based on listening to the other person and understanding how they feel, and then, you know, like responding accordingly, such as if they're being bad, to correct the behavior, if they are, you know, and or just forget it. Like, walk away from each other and feel you're just not compatible, and that's it, you know. It's better to be with someone who's more compatible, you know. I need to find a guy who's really compatible with me, and that guy was not compatible with me. However much I felt for him, he wasn't compatible with me. You know, he wants different things to me, you know. I don't want an online relationship, only relationship. I don't want someone in another country. I want to stay in the UK. I want someone who's supportive of me and my career. I want someone who makes me happy. You know, and someone who like appreciates it when I say to them, here's a love song. I think it's really beautiful. Phil, sounds like you've really been through it, Sandra, but good on you. He was dishonest and you were still able to see the truth. Oh, lots of love. Thanks, Phil. Yeah. Yeah, he was dishonest and still is, clearly. I feel sorry for him, I guess. I don't know why I feel sorry for him. I shouldn't feel sorry for him. Because, you know, I just feel sorry that a guy's going to go through life being that way. I just, like, they're not going to get the happiness that they really want if they're behaving like that. I'm the same way. Someone who accepts us for who we are and not just there for stuff. Yeah. A lot of people want to get back into relationship for their own means. Like, he probably just wants to get back in a relationship for ego reasons. Like, oh, see, I told you, everyone, she really loves me. She's back with me now. Couldn't keep her away from me. Had to be with me no matter what. In other words, I can treat her like shite and she'll still come back to me, you know, and I just can't let that happen. You know, and so it's hard, but it's for my own good that I just stay away from him. It's not hard in the sense he's a liar still. That's makes it more easier for me. So he did me a favour by doing that, but it's just hard when you care about someone, even if they probably don't really care about you that much, you know? Because caringness to me is actually feeling for the other person, putting yourself in that other person's shoes. Like, if they're putting themselves in my shoes, they should surely be able to see Sandra doesn't want an online only relationship. It's not going to make her happy. She doesn't want that. Sandra doesn't want a liar. Sandra doesn't want someone who's dishonest and rating fake things. Sandra doesn't want someone who's creating fake profiles. I can't make Sandra happy because I can't move to the UK. I can't make Sandra happy because I can't even tell the truth. You know, it's like ridiculous. I mean, he wasn't even interested in older women when I met him. Maybe it was a shock to him that he got attracted to an older woman. But you know, it's just like when I met him, he likes much younger girls, you know, which is fair enough. But you know, clearly, if he likes much younger, skinny girls, then why doesn't he just go and find a young, skinny girl? Because, you know, I'm happy with the way I am, and I want someone who appreciates the more voluptuous, figure. And I do know, so I have a friend, I'm not going to say anything about who they are or anything, but I have a friend who really loves my physical. I'm cool with them saying stuff like this because I know they would never do anything. They're a really lovely person, basically, but they just say about my looks as a nice compliment, you know. And I know that they like the way I look. They like a female aesthetically that has a fuller figure, not someone who's skinny. They don't get attracted to skinny girls, skinny women at all. It doesn't do anything for them. They're not interested in that. So they like women who's like more of what I call a real woman in the voluptuous sense, you know. I was explaining a while ago, like on this channel, if you look at old fashioned, I don't like nudity, right? But when I'm doing the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which I've just started working on again today, which is great. You know, when I've been doing research, like they'll have like stuff on Wikipedia with people like in Victorian era or Roman era or something, and they do have some naked bodies in paintings. Ugh. And when you see them, they've actually got the women there have got fuller figures. They're not stick thin. Now, there's nothing wrong with a woman who's naturally stick thin, right? You know, everybody's different. Everyone loves different body shapes, you know. But I don't think it's good of society to keep pushing that skinny is healthy and that thin is healthy. You know, you can be healthy without being skinny or thin. So I think that's a really, really bad thing that they do that. But if someone wants a skinny girl who's a lot younger, then why not just go for that? Why even continue to try and make contact and pursue me if I'm not even their type, you know? It's just strange. But obviously they must have some feelings for me, but it doesn't necessarily mean to say it's love. It's not healthy love anyway. It's a toxic love. Because you don't treat someone like that. You know, you don't threaten to leave someone and laugh about it when they've been trying to help you to get legitimately into the UK and spending lots of time doing that, researching and stuff for you and stuff like that. You know, I'm not interested in that. I don't want to be with the guy abroad anymore. I really don't. Yeah, it's good to have friends that build you up. Get your self-esteem into good shape so your true colours shine through. Thank you. I've got 2 great friends that help me out with that. Yeah, I've got 3 best friends. One's moved countries now, so it's a lot difficult because I can't speak to her very much. Because she's kind of like not really available for video chatting or hasn't been yet. So she's kind of got a lot of life of her own, obviously. But with her, we didn't used to talk that much anyway. But whenever we saw each other, it was just like we hadn't stopped seeing each other. So it's her birthday tomorrow, actually. So I sent her a present. But she's moved to Turkey. But my two actual best friends, they're really, really good. I trust them implicitly. Both of them are really, really honest people, very trustworthy, very healthy. I've got a really healthy friendship relationship, not romantic relationship, with both of them. Very, very healthy. Those are my 2 most healthiest friendship relationships I've ever had in my life. And they are very, very good. They don't lie. And they're genuine. They tell me how they feel. You know, and if there's an issue, we always talk about it. Like, like if one of us is feeling a certain way, we always just like talk about it and face it and say it in the most nicest of ways, which is really good. One of them, comes to look after me, usually just shopping, but they haven't been so well lately, so they haven't been doing that for a while. I've been having to like get a little bit myself from across the road, but mostly I've got they stocked me up well for a couple of weeks anyway on bulky stuff while they were here. So, but yeah, like you say, Megan, it's really important you have friends that build you up and get your self-esteem up again. That's partly why I've gone back on Facebook dating, but I don't know if it's going to be any good for that because obviously they are one sex usually. And so it might not be very good, but I kind of wanted to just talk to some different guys. I'm like, it's been a few months now. I want to start talking to a few different guys again. Maybe have a date, but as they're sexual, it probably won't work out. But, I just felt it was the right time to go back on there. Because last time I tried it very briefly, I was only on there for 2 hours. I felt really kind of scared and stuff, but I'm feeling not too bad. But I might come off it again if it gets too much because I've got other stuff I need to be doing in my life. And it can get a bit distracting. But yeah, like you say, it's good like to have your own. My friends always remind me, like, this guy's no good for you. If he was genuinely a soulmate, because obviously in his postcards he's like, oh, we're soulmates, right? And he's probably saying that because that's what I believe. I've got a soulmate in the world, but I believe my soulmate's Indian. And I believed at the time that I had a soulmate connection with him. But if I have still got a soulmate connection with him, then it's going to be a toxic soulmate, not a good soulmate. I think it's possible that you could have toxic soulmates. But really, like, I read in some articles, well, a particular article that, and my friends have been saying this, like a real soulmate would not treat you that way. Someone who's your soulmate wouldn't make you feel bad or put you down and treat you badly like that. A real soulmate would make you feel happy. And that's what I read in the article that I was reading. If you think that someone was your soulmate, but they didn't treat you well and wasn't good with you and, and was bad with you, basically, then, they're probably not your soulmate. So it's really, I've just got to remember it's an illusion. And if there are a soulmate, they're a toxic one, probably. Those toxic ones come through from the past than good ones. So yeah, it's but yeah, it's really great to get self-esteem back and confidence. I find self-dating helps a lot with that as well. And this month it's my birthday and I've got a lot going on as well. Right, they're supposed to be someone who you were ideally wanting for so long. Ha ha. Yeah, exactly, Megan. Exactly. A soulmate, really, as I envisage a soulmate is someone who's genuinely a best friend to you. Like, I've got 3 best friends. I'm not ever going to replace them, even if I get into a romantic relationship. They're not to be replaced ever. But I would have an additional soulmate who would be my romantic soulmate and a best friend as well. So I'd have like 4 best friends in that case. But this one I would be romantic with, whereas the others I'm not. And so, I believe that a soulmate is like, I believe I didn't know a soulmate in the past. I believe I have an Indian soulmate somewhere, asexual Indian soulmate. I still haven't met him yet, but I can't shake the feeling that I've got an Indian soulmate. I think he's asexual, but but I can't help but think and feel intuitively that I have got an Indian soulmate, unless I was just with this guy in a previous life and I'm not going to meet him in this life. But I just can't think that way. So I just think he exists. I think he's somewhere, and I feel sad about that because I feel like he's probably looking for me just as much as I'm looking for him, and I can't find him. And there's loads of people that go, "Oh, don't look. When love's supposed to happen, it will." I just don't believe that. I believe that, yes, it can happen when it's meant to happen, but I believe you have to put yourself out there proactively, or at least make be in different spaces, do different things, put yourself in a position where these people can find you, because like, if you just hide behind a computer and don't actually interact with anyone or speak to anyone, and you see the same people, you don't do anything different, you're gonna get the same result. And a lot of the time when it's like, oh, love's just gonna happen, it's usually the wrong person. Like with the guy I'm talking about on this video, like, we were friends for a few months first before we started dating, and we were not each other's ideal type, right? And so you could argue, oh, that just happened. He just happened to come in my Facebook groups, just happened to contact me, just happened to see me before in an actual Facebook group before he joined my groups, and which he's blocked from, obviously, now, to protect everyone and keep them safe, especially, But, like, you could argue that just happened. But, usually when things just happen and guys just come in my inbox, the majority of them are no good for me. So I think it's much better to try and go after or look for what you actually want, rather than someone just plonking themselves in your life and on you, if you know what I mean. I just don't think that's a good strategy. Because I just don't think it works. I just don't really think it works. I just think it's like, you'll have what you're given then, rather than having what you actually want. But at the same time, if you go chasing after it, you could get the fact that someone, there's a resistance there as well. So it's kind of like really difficult to get a balance. I think you've got to put yourself in positions where you could meet the right person, but without forcing it at the same time, I think. But it's very difficult, sometimes I just prefer to be on my own and not have any contact with these guys and stuff. Other times it's kind of like I really just want to have some chatting with some guys. I mean, on Facebook dating, like when I first joined there again, like I said in yesterday's video, I think it was, I got 28 likes already, but these likes, 28. Oh, they were people who liked me, so they hearted me. And so, like, this is just for my picture, though. They haven't read my profile. They're just swiping. So immediately 28 guys like the way I look, which is great because obviously I'm not a skinny girl. But I've used the latest photographs as well of me. So it's not like I've used years old photographs. But, I believe that a soulmate is a best friend, and they'll be faithful, and they'll be very into you as a person, and not just say words that are into you. They will prove it, and they will make you feel really secure, really happy. You won't have to worry about them going off with someone else. You won't have to, they're not going to be fake. They're not going to create fake profile names. They're just going to be themselves, and they'll have strict boundaries. They'll be boundary driven with their friends and other people. So you can really, really trust them, and you just know that they're meant to be with you, and they're going to foster a healthy relationship with you. They're going to want to have really lots of communication in a healthy way. They're not going to twist your words or change what you say. You've got to really watch out for that. It's a narcissistic trait. They twist your words, or they say something that you never said in the first place. You'll be very careful of that. And so, I believe that, there's someone that you want to hang out with, someone that you want to spend time with, someone who reciprocates all of it back to you, though. Like if anything starts to feel one-sided, that's really not your soulmate, because soulmates kind of like both need each other in a healthy way as much as possible, and they both want to be in each other's lives and share moments together and stuff. I find it really difficult to find a Indian guy who's suitable for me, who's a really nice, caring, kind guy, but I believe those guys exist. I just don't know where to find them. Like, not necessarily on Facebook dating, but it's really difficult. There might be. I know there's some asexuals on there, because obviously Megan, you're on there, but I know there's some other asexuals from my groups that go on Facebook dating as well. Probably after I mentioned it, I think that people try it. So there's clearly some asexuals on there somewhere, but I think they're really hard to find. And a lot of the guys obviously on Facebook dating, a lot of them are students as well, so they're just going to go back to their country after some time. But I haven't come across one yet that genuinely doesn't need sex. They're all kind of sex. The ones that I'm attracted to, anyway. I'm attracted to the sexual guys. That's not good, is it? But that's why I think it's so difficult when you meet asexuals and it doesn't work out. Like both the guys last year were asexual, but it just doesn't work out. Wouldn't it be hilarious if we ended up meeting on there? What, me and you, Megan? My settings are to meet a guy. So I don't know if you'll see my profile because you're into girls, but I won't see yours because I'm into guys. So I'm not gonna see you on there because I don't have my settings to look for women. So I only have my settings to look for guys. I only have my settings to look for guys because I'm only attracted to guys. The preferences are kind of broken. Oh, are they? What, on Facebook dating? They're not for me. They do. What you have to do is you have to put in settings for strong preferences. But sometimes I will show you people outside the preferences. So this time I've set my preferences for a bit higher than I would usually do, right? Because I really like guys in their 20s, but I've set it for up to 32 years old, which is old for me. For me personally, because I'm into younger guys, and I got some 35-year-olds, and it's like, because when you set your preferences, it's like strong preference for this age. I put the age like not more than 32, and I'm still getting older guys, most of whom are no good for me. I keep getting guys, and I want non-binary, trans women, and cis women. Oh, I get some women coming in the blokes. Oh boy, exactly. You keep getting guys you want non-bi. I've got some, like, I've come across some trans guys on there because I've got guys. I'm looking for guys. And I've got some, but they don't reveal the gender. Have you noticed on that? The gender is actually hidden. Like, so unless they put in the profile, you don't know who is what gender, because Facebook hide the gender. It's really weird, that. But if you look in the settings, like with mine, it says woman, and then in brackets, it'll say not shown. So it doesn't show your gender in Facebook dating. Yeah, another problem. Exactly. I'm surprised they don't do that. Like, I was on there, and then all of a sudden it got a smiley face. Yeah, it doesn't show sexuality either. Yeah, there is a lot of things they could do to improve Facebook dating, really. They really could, but it's just kind of like a swipe thing. It's like a Tinder, isn't it, really? But probably a bit worse in the sense they got no filters for sexuality. You know, and stuff like that. But they got a smile. Have you tried the smile feature yet? Because the smile feature is new, I think. You know, because it's got like, you can heart it now, and you can smile, and a smile means you want to at least be friends, but maybe more, but you're not sure. So that's that popped up on my Facebook dating thing. So yeah, but it's a shame they haven't got sexuality, really. But I put it in my profile, like, I haven't seen that. Oh my gosh, I should talk about some of the guys. Like, I've had quite a few guys already talk to me on there, but you know, it's all the same type of stuff. At least they're honest. Like, one of the guys, he was only 19, and he still outright said, well, I want a woman who I can have sex with. I'm like, oh, thanks for being honest. Bye then. I was interested to know what he had to say. But that's what I mean. Like, people are quite shocked. They think these like younger guys are really sweet and innocent. It's like, no, they're really not sweet and innocent. You know, they just like sex. Oh my god. You haven't seen that? Yeah. It came on my phone. Like, it came up. So when I only went back on there on the 9th of April 2022. And when I'm recording this in the UK, it's the 11th. So I've only been on there since the 9th. And first of all, the feature didn't come up. And then all of a sudden it appeared. And it was like hours later or the next day, and it had like a smiley in the middle. And it's like, oh, it tells you what it does. It's like this smiley, you can smile at someone to let them know you like them and you want to be at least friends, but maybe more. But you don't want to completely match with them. But when you do the like, you still go through to the match section where you can message them. So you still go through to the same place anyway. It's funny. I'm like, well, what's the difference then between matching? Well, you've let them know the smile, but a person doesn't really know the difference a lot of the time. You know, unless it comes up and says this person smiled at you. I think it comes up and says this person liked you, I think, which is the smile, I think. And then this person matched with you, I think. But I'm still getting used to this new feature. Also, down the bottom, it's got like some icons. I think that might be to like send like a emoji or something, or love letter or something. I didn't really understand it. I haven't explored that yet. But when I first went in there, it wasn't working properly because the matches, I said I got matches, but then they didn't actually come. They didn't actually show out. I couldn't actually speak to the matches. It showed like you've got X amount of matches, but you can't actually speak to them. It doesn't sound like it's needed then. Well, not really. I mean, you know, it's good in a way because it's non-committal. It's basically saying, oh, I like you. I think you might be nice as a friend, but not sure about anything else. So I think in theory it's good, but I don't think they make it clear enough that it is that, because it kind of all goes into the matches anyway. So it's not really like, you know, they all come through the heart, which is a match. So it's kind of like, you know, it's not really, you know, I think it's a heart, isn't it? Or it's X amount of people have liked you. Oh yeah, and then you come through the heart and then you match with them. I'm trying to get used to being on there again. I got my phone switched off at the moment. If I turned it on, it'd probably help, wouldn't it? And I could see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I think there's still some guys on there that I spoke to before. I started speaking to a guy like last night who's Indian, but I'm sure I probably spoke to him somewhere before. But I'm acting as though I haven't spoke to him before. I thought, but I'm not sure if he's one of the Indian groups I'm in the UK, because this name's very familiar. It's really funny. It's got a swear word in part of the name, bless his heart. But I think it's probably his real name because I've seen someone else. It's either him or someone else in an Indian group I'm in with the same name. And so I'm like, oh, that's an unusual name. Bless him. But yeah, I don't think it's really needed. In some ways, I think it's just like kind of weird. But I think like I've gone back on it because I wanted to conquer my fears of talking to guys again. I think it's nice, right, kind of distract my mind a bit to different guys. I have this huge romantic drive in me, and I do find that's really difficult being single. For me, as a hyper romantic, is when I have a really strong romantic drive, and it's like I've got no one to kiss, and I really want to be romantic with the guy, and I can't really be romantic with anyone apart from myself, which is good. Phil, dating is such a minefield. It's a wonder any of us were born. It's a wonder any of us were born. Well, there's people that a lot want sex, so it's easy, isn't it? Then, because when people want sex, the dating game has, the dating game's usually a lot of sex. I don't want sex, and so that's why it's kind of a lot of us were born, because like loads of people are having sex, and that's still the most common way to have a baby and produce offspring and other human beings. So it's not surprising that we were born. But my parents have been married 52 years, so 53 years next month. Oh my gosh, I got to remember it's our anniversary. So my parents are good in that way. They're very faithful to each other, and they've only been, they got married and together for a long time, so I'm good and happy about that. So many people are having kids nowadays. Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with offspring. I don't think there's a problem with people being born. I don't want kids at all. I was a bit insulted by an Indian guy friend on Facebook telling me I should have children. I mean, he knows I'm asexual. I'm like, are you really not asexual if you're telling me to do that? Because I'm asexual. I don't want kids. I know some asexuals still do want kids, but I'm sex repulsed and I don't want children. I've never wanted children since I was 15 years old. I'm not going to change my mind on that. I'm pregnancy repulsed. Really repulsed by pregnancy. But, I still congratulate people who are having babies if I know them and they're really happy, because I'm happy they're happy, but it's not my thing at all, And I get on well with kids that are grown up a little bit, like 4, 5, 6, that, are into same sort of movies as I am. Chat to them about movies and stuff, but I would not want to actually have kids of my own at all, ever. I don't want that type of lifestyle. I'm too busy being like a kid myself. Like, look at my room, it's frozen. Frozen's so cute, and my ears and stuff. Yeah, I love living like a teenager myself. There's no room for any more kids. But I love going to kids club myself as well, But I think it's good as well. I think it's very important, if you do date and look at a relationship, that you try to find someone who really accepts you for who you are. Because with me, one of the things, you too. Oh, bless you, Megan. That's really good. I think one of the things is I don't want to change my lifestyle for a guy. Like, I like my lifestyle the way it is. I don't want to have to change who I am. I mean, I want to have a guy who encourages me to live the way I want to live and brings out the best in me, and we have lots of things in common. I think it's actually important to have lots of things in common, because I think over time, that's going to keep you together. It's very interesting because I don't usually go around reading news and stuff, but I did see an article of Simon Cowell, who's notoriously, he's one of the judges on X Factor in the UK, and Britain's Got Talent. And so he's getting married now, and he swore he'd never get married, but I saw an article that said that lockdown, it was either make or break for relationships, and it was made his relationship, thanks for the thumbs up, because he said about, the woman he's with now, he's got lots of things in common with, and they make each other laugh and they get on really well. And he noticed that in the lockdown. And so therefore he can't see himself dating anyone else. So he's fed up of playing the field and basically going to get married now. And I think that's really, really good. So obviously there are some people that can change. Simon Cowell can change. Hopefully. We'll have to wait and see, because like I said, it's one thing to say something, it's another to mean it. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But I do think he's got a point about, I think it's good to have stuff in common. I know some people are like, oh, well, they don't have to be the same as you, this person. They can have their own interests and be different, which I do think it's good to still have your own interests and be different in some ways. But I think if you've not got much in common, then you don't really have anything to tide you through. Like, you need to have some commonalities, like common values, for example, common ethos, common morals. Those things need to be, need to have commonalities. Also, deal breakers, where you want marriage or you don't, where you want kids or you don't, whether you want to live together or you don't, whether you want to be in different countries or not. Liam, hi, sweetheart Sandra. The world needs people like you. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love. I appreciate you being here. It's nice to see you. So, I think it's really important that you do have people with couples with stuff in common. I actually think, having too much difference can be a strain on the relationship, because, like, if you're too different, it can be hard to find stuff that you both enjoy together, because you kind of both end up trying to do stuff to please the other person more, in terms of, you want to make them happy, you want to spend time doing the stuff the other person wants to do some of the time, and vice versa. But if you're not really enjoying it, it's kind of like you're doing it for the sake of it. And if you've not got much in common, inevitably, if you decide to not do anything of what the other person likes, you kind of like might drift apart, or not have much time together, or not really enjoy your time together as much. So I think it's good to get a balance of some things that, that you can like be your own person on. But I also think it's really important to have lots of stuff in common. Because I do think that that's going to make a relationship a lot easier when you both have the same ideology of the type of relationship you want, where you both have the same values and morals. If you have a person that, they don't lie, you don't lie, you're completely honest, they're completely honest, completely faithful, that, you're both faithful, you're both like very good communicators with each other, you both tell each other if there's a problem, and you foster safety and security within each other. I think this is the type of relationship you need to go for, not go back to an ex who treated you badly and who probably most likely will not have changed, especially if they're already giving you signs that they haven't changed. It's better to move on and to try and find someone who values your worth, who appreciates you, who won't lie to you, who'll be honest, who you can have a bestest friendship with, and a proper soulmate relationship. A soulmate wants the best for you. They don't want to lie to you and cause problems in your life and cause you upset and pain. They want to be there for you. They want to treat you well. They want a genuine proper soulmate would want the best for you, and if a person doesn't want their best for you, they can't really be a true love healthy soulmate anyway, only a toxic person to you. So you need to just know that some people you come across in your life that you have feelings for, that's not actually meant to stay in your life, and sometimes it's to teach you a lesson, and other times it's just like, you've just got to move on. But it's not always easy, but just know that you deserve better. You deserve someone who's going to love you for you, who wants you as the type of ideal person for them, who wants you, for you, and who loves you for you, and it's not staying with you just for the sake of that, oh, I can't get over her, or or she'll do, or whatever gender. You can swap it out. I'm just saying it from my point of view. But because I don't think people should be with someone who speaks to them like, oh, I'm putting up with you, or I'm stuck with you. That kind of like is like, forced. You want to be someone who's like going, oh my gosh, we had a great conversation together today, looking each other's eyes, holding each other's hand, chatting about this, chatting about that, spending time together, having fun, really trusting each other. You need to foster safety and security in a really happy, healthy, committed relationship to each other, which is wants the best for the other person. Someone who really genuinely loves you wants the best for you, and they want the best for themselves with you, and they will also tell you if something's difficult and they're finding it hard, and how you can work it out together. Like some of my friends, sometimes they have a mental health difficulties and they just need to be on their own. So I just, as long as I know that, and I just like, oh, okay, they'll take time out for themselves, but as long as I know about it, like I don't think I've done something wrong or something, then that's cool, So and in a healthy relationship, you'd be saying to the other person, like, I'm struggling with this. And obviously in a relationship, if the other person can help you in some way, in a healthy way, then that's really good. But lying, cheating, faking, all this type of thing is just not good. So never go back to an ex who's still doing this type of stuff. And most people, they do not change, unfortunately. Because in order to make change happen and make it stick, you have to fundamentally change the core roots of the problem, which sometimes might be going back to childhood. It might be that you've had some, you know, like, for example, if you had a lot of people leave you in your life when you were younger, you'll then have abandonment issues later on. If you have someone or some people that were never there for you, you always felt on your own, then again, you'll have abandonment issues. If you maybe some people have, I'm fortunate to have really good parents, by the way. Like, you know, not, you know, my parents love each other, and I never, you know, they're very good with each other. But some people have like an alcoholic, my parents don't really drink, but some people have an alcoholic mother or father, you know, and they just see, like, you know, maybe one of them's battering the other, you know, and I've known this to happen with people who have told me, you know, and so that person may turn out of two ways. One is, I am never ever going to be like my father, hurting my mum because he's drunk, or vice versa. Or they might go the other way, thinking, oh, that behaviour is fine because one of my parents does it to the other one, so it's okay for me to do it, you know. But, you know, a lot of people will say, use the past as their excuse for their bad behaviour. There's no excuse for bad behaviour. They can get therapy. They can go and get help if they choose to. If they choose not to, that's up to them. Right, but it's not up to you to solve that person's problems. Like, I can't, like the guy who I'm talking about in this video, I can't solve his problems. I can't change him. He doesn't realize what he's doing is a problem. Clearly, he's quite happy to continue making fake surnames and stuff up, you know, and you know, like, not listening to what I'm saying about, I don't want an online only relationship anyway, you know. And so it's just crazy. But, you know, we have to be strong. We have to remain strong, even if it's difficult. We have to not go back to X that's no good for us. You know, usually a guy needs to take a lot of years to change. And unless you fundamentally change things on a root level, it doesn't really change. You know, I have some things that I have really genuinely changed for over the years. I still have the knowledge of what I was like before, and I have the knowledge of, like, what I need to be like all the time. So sometimes, you know, if you've got bad habits, sometimes you've actually got to keep really good tight rein on yourself and say, hey, that was not good for me to be like that. I need to be like this, you know, and you need to keep exercising the new habits all the time. It's like, even with depression, like, I, unfortunately, I've been free of depression since 2012, and then December 2020, I got really bad with my mind again, because of a work situation that happened, and it was crazy. I never expected that to happen. So sometimes we do go into states where we didn't think we'd ever go into before, you know. And so, you know, we've got to be aware of how we are interacting with other people, and we've got to be aware of how they're interacting with us, and we've always got to ask ourselves, you know, is their behavior congruent with what they're saying? Because actions speak louder than words, but if the words and the actions aren't marrying up, then, you know, either way, either the actions aren't matching the words, or the words aren't matching the actions, then it's incongruency. Then, you know, it's not going to be honest person. It's not going to be right for you. And so we have to decide for ourselves what to do in life. But I would encourage you, like, if you've got an ex who wants to get back with you, then they need a good couple of years out, you know, to get better and to change. But if they have not done any therapy, no counselling, not done any work on themselves, 2 years later they come back, they'll probably be exactly the same person they were 2 years ago. They might have made minor changes. Maybe they're living somewhere else now. Maybe they're doing a different course. Maybe they got few different friends, right? But fundamentally, who they are and the way they treat people will still be the same, usually, you know. And unfortunately, you know, this person hasn't changed, and, you know, however much you wish someone would, unless they do it themselves, there's no point. And it's sad, you know, because I think people who genuinely care and have kind hearts, we do wish people would change for the better when we know that if something's not right. You know, dishonesty is wrong, fakeness is wrong, you know, lying is wrong. It's not good. You know, it's not fostering healthy relationship. It's not fostering commitment and love. It's not making person feel secure. You know, in a relationship, you know, a person should be making you feel secure and happy and confident, not worried and everything. You can't have a stable relationship with someone who's up and down, like you're on a seesaw or a ship at sail at sea. You know, you can't have that. You know, I've been attracted to guys in the past, and I used to think, oh, I'm feeling insecure, that's to do with me. But it's not a lot of the time. Like, if you are feeling insecure, it's usually because the person who's with you is not helping you to feel secure. And often, I'm not saying all the time, but often this stems from the fact of their behavior. Like, they're unpredictable, for example. That's not going to make you feel secure. They can't make their mind up about what future they want, where they're heading in their life. If you're a person who likes to see into the future and likes to understand where you're headed with that person, that's not going to make you feel secure, because you're going to be like, what's going on? Where are we headed? What's the goals together? And you're going to go into abyss of nothing, and you can't be stable and secure with someone like that. Same with having a emotionally available person. Like, so basically you can have a guy, for example, swap it out for any gender. You can have, for example, because I'm only attracted to guys, I could have a guy in my life that I'm romantically attracted to. They're romantically attracted to me, and for friendship, they're there for me, right? They're really there for me, always on the end of a phone or message, come in a crisis, really, really good. But when it comes to actually getting a relationship, they're not available. They're emotionally unavailable. Often this is because they've got an avoidant attachment style. So whatever happens in their childhood, they learnt to avoid situations, go from situations because of pain. And so therefore they aren't emotionally available for you, because as soon as they get close to you, they want to run a mile. And that's to do with their issues, not to do with your issues. They want to run a mile because closeness to them means they're going to get hurt or abandoned. So they want to they want to abandon first and move from that potential hurt before they do get hurt. And so this is how it works. But unless they realize, hang on a minute, I've got an avoidant personality, I do this, instead of confronting this person and saying, I'm not happy with this, or we need to have a chat about something, and not have this like avoidant style, then it's not going to improve the relationship. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in relationships that since my research from the Asexual Guide to Sex book, I've been doing more and more research into things. I understand a lot more about relationships than I did before. That's what's so good about my book. I'm learning so much as I go along. It's turning into a much bigger book than it originally was. I stopped back away on it today. But yeah, as I've had to do more in-depth research to the topics I already knew some about, especially attachment styles. I didn't know enough about that, and it took me weeks to learn that. Then I understand a lot more than I did before. And so there's a lot more to relationships. There's a lot of root causes of people's behavior, but that doesn't excuse a bad behavior. You can't stay with someone or get back with an ex just because you feel sorry for them. I do feel sorry for the person, that they have to lie, that they have to create fake surnames, that they have to create fake profiles still. I feel sorry for that person's like that, but just because I feel sorry for them is not a reason for me to get back in a relationship with them. Because what about me? What about my needs? What about feeling secure and happy and safe and loved and cherished by that person? What about honesty and trust and compassion and faithfulness? I can't believe any of that stuff, So just because you feel sorry for someone or care about someone doesn't make any difference. They have to sort their own problems out themselves. And if they can't sort their own problems out themselves, it's not your problem. You're not responsible for other people's problems. And I learned this, in my pattern changing course years ago in 2013, when it teaches you how to spot patterns of abuse. And, and I used to take on, like, I still think I have some of these tendencies. I wouldn't say I'm completely over being this type of person. I want to make things better for a person. Like, I'm a helper, really. And I felt a bit responsible for other people's problems, as in my exes. Like, oh my gosh, they've got so many problems, I need to help them sort it out. But you can't. It's not your responsibility to sort their problems out for them. Only they can do that themselves. And otherwise you become like a mother figure to them, or like a teacher to them. You're not actually a partner to them. You're like like I said, a mother or a teacher. You're taking on a role that you don't need to take on, an advisor and stuff like that. And that's not what you want to be. You want to be equal partner in a healthy, committed relationship where you're both helping each other and enabling each other to have the best life. But you're also saying, hey, I've got this problem, I need to sort this out. They're saying I've got that problem, they need to sort this out, as well as working through problems together, to make two whole people, and whole individuals, but you can't have security in someone who doesn't make you feel secure, who's someone who doesn't know what they want or wants completely different things to you, who's heading in a different direction to you, who's not emotionally available for you, who doesn't treat you well, it's up and down with you, blowing hot and cold with you, playing games with you. There is no way you can be secure with a person like that. And when I had this revelation that, you know, it's not me, it's just the way that I'm well, it's not me in the sense I'm not making myself feel that way, and I'm not being, you know, there's nothing wrong with me in that way. I'm feeling naturally insecure because of the way the relationship or friendship or what, well, it's usually relationship these days, my friendships are good, but you know, then, you know, when I had the revelation of like, oh, I'm not here to fix someone, I'm not here to solve someone's problem, and if a person doesn't know what the frigging hell they want and they're up and down like a yo-yo and their emotions are all over the place and they're not emotionally available for me and they're like, you know, they're wanting different things to me, that's obviously going to make you feel insecure. Anyone would feel insecure unless they want a casual relationship. If they want a casual relationship, they're you know, maybe they're an avoidant person themselves, then they might not feel insecure because they might be like, oh, I'm like this myself. I like avoiding things. So when a person avoids things with me, I avoid them with them. I recognize that in myself, so I'm cool with that. So there are certain times where people might not feel that, depending on their personality type. But in general, like if you are feeling insecure in a relationship, ask yourself, like, is there any behavior of the other person that's enabling you to feel that way? If there is, then it's in your best interest to obviously confront the person about it, and then if they won't change what they're doing, then leave that relationship, because it's not going to be healthy for both of you. Because if you stay with someone who's like not making you feel stable and secure, then it's not going to be good for either of you, because you're going to have insecurities, maybe jealousy and stuff like this, and you know, worried about things all the time. It's just going to put a lot of stress on you and that you don't need. Love should be like, you know, like, it's obviously you have to work at relationship, but it should be like, you know, like comforting. It should be comforting and caring and supportive and nurturing, and like you can be yourself, you know. And so it's really, really important that you understand this, and that we're not here to fix people. We cannot fix someone else. We're not responsible for another people's problems or person's problems. They have to find their own solutions to these problems. You can advise them, but like I said, you don't want to be in a relationship where you just end up being their advisor. That's not what you're there for in life. You're there to have an equal partnership and be with someone who loves, respects, cherishes you, and who speaks to you well, and who's honest with you and faithful and sincere and very kind, caring and committed to you. You know, I mean, I'm monogamous, but even in polyamorous relationships, you know, they have to have a lot of level of trust and honesty and communication, because they need to know what's going on with the people, rather than two people, all the people in the relationship. They all have to have certain boundaries, know where each other stands, know where each other's headed, you know, what they're doing in the relationship, what their dynamics are. You know, that they have to have agreements, which are like boundaries drawn up between them. You know, like, are the partners going to meet each other, or are you going to keep them separate, and this type of thing. So, you know, there's always got to be some sort of healthy boundaries and negotiation and communication, no matter whether it's a monogamous relationship or a polyamorous relationship. But, you know, you should never have someone who's trying to make you jealous in a relationship, or causing you to feel that way. You know, I'm not saying there are not people that have insecurities or jealousy issues in general, but I know that a lot of the time, in my personal experience, it's because the actual person's behavior is all over the place, and therefore, personally, for me, it can't make me feel secure if there's no kind of like consistency and persistency of behavior. And if 1 minute they're really nice, say, and then the next minute they're not, that's usually a sign of abuse, narcissistic traits as well. So, you know, like, no one's perfect. You're not going to get on all the time. You're probably going to have some fallouts. Maybe you have some crosswords that aren't great. You know, so no relationship is, you know, smooth all the time. But you should be able to trust that person, and you should be able to feel safe and secure with that person. and that person, you know, that you have a good foundation with, not someone who makes you feel like you're all over the place with them. You know, I found out recently a bit about trauma bonding, and trauma bonding is like, say you had a traumas in your past, and then you can end up attracting someone who makes you feel that same sort of trauma again. And it's kind of like when they're up and down in a relationship, 1 minute they're, you know, into you and hot with you and feeling, you know, like making you feel fantastic, which releases like certain chemicals, certain hormones like oxytocin, and then they basically take it away from you again by putting you down or being horrible to you. And they bring it up, you know, then they release the chemicals by being nice to you again. And this is how some people get addicted to wrong relationships and bad people, because, you know, that they're giving you doses of this hot and cold, which is not what you want. Usually if you split up with an ex, you've done so for a specific reason. And if you go back to that ex, the majority of time, that reason or those reasons will still be there. Nothing will have changed. Because like I said, unless they fundamentally know that something's wrong in what they're doing, their behavior, the way they are, and they fundamentally change it at the root level, which usually requires some sort of therapy or counseling, then it's not going to happen. However much you love them or care about them or the best will in the world for them, it's not going to happen. And we need to move on, and we need to stay strong. You know, like people who are in like groups, they say, oh, should I get back with an ex? And usually my answer is always no, because you split up them and left their life for a reason. And so that's it. You know, it's time to move on, and we have to move on, because nothing happens and we just stay stuck and stagnant, does it? So yeah, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this live stream. It's been very in-depth tonight. I want to thank Liam for being here. Lots of love to you. Want to thank Phil, and of course Megan. It's so good to see you again. I haven't seen you for ages, and I wish you lots of healing, Megan, lots of love and light, and good luck with Facebook dating, and I hope you find a better person for you. You deserve the best treatment, you know, ever. And yeah, make sure you're shining your light as well. Thanks very much, Phil, and thanks, Liam and Megan. Lots of love to you, and thanks for the thumbs up. If anyone else is watching this video, please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, found it useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the great big bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Lots of love to you. Take care. And oh yes, Asexual Perspectives. If you haven't got your copy, it is available on Amazon. Thank you, and I love you lots. Bye. Mwah.